Leo, this is the energy between you and your person in separation. Energy between Leo and their person in separation. I was not going to use the tarot first, but why not? Okay, so we have the Queen of Cups. So somebody still wants to talk. Somebody has emotions that maybe they're sitting on, Leo, or they have been sitting on. Maybe that's been part of the issue. You've been wanting this person to communicate. You've been wanting this person to access that part of their heart that allows them to be able to openly communicate the way you need them to. You need somebody to, tell you how they feel, right? But Leo, I feel like in this separation, though, someone is still struggling with that. Okay? Now, I do feel like it's possible that you may hear from this person, but there does need to be some, like, deeply... Excuse me. This person does have to, like, have some deep self-reflection about their emotions first before they can actually open up to you about them. Okay, but I do feel like this is going to be success. At least the communication will be successful, even if there's no reconciliation at the end, right? Because maybe that's not everybody's goal. Some people just need that closure, or some people just they just need to be able to close that chapter. You may have success with that, but not until someone really feels truly comfortable opening up their heart. And honestly, Leo, the energy that I'm getting here is that one person was very, very good at that in this dynamic, while the other person may have, been a little challenged in that area. Yeah, we got the Five of Swords here now. And then we also have the Magician. And then something here. Oh, okay. Yeah, the Devil. Okay. Ooh, I just bit my card. All right, the Magician, the Devil, the Five of Swords. Oh my God, it's like, Leo, you might not even know how anxious this person is to communicate with you now. Even if they were avoidant to do that before, adverse to communication before, right? They just wanted things their way. They just needed, they wanted to be heard and understood, but they weren't trying to hear or understand either, right? The thing is that this person is going through such a I don't want to say the energy is transformative, because it's not really transformative. This person is, they're, I don't know, they're finally accessing the resources that are available to them to be able to deal with the deepest, darkest parts of them. Whether that's them going to therapy, or maybe them doing just a lot of self-research on, the things that they've been experiencing within themselves. My point is that this person is coming into an understanding. This person may be finally understanding whatever it was that they were trying not to understand before, or purposely not understanding before. Okay? They could be asking themselves, all right, so what do I do now? Leo, if this person comes back to you, you may be asking yourself, all right, well, what am I going to do with this information? I kind of feel like this is you, Leo, saying, well, all right, well, what am I going to do with that information? Now you want to talk. Now you want to open up. Now you want to tell me, that you've been dealing with your addictions, or you've been dealing with your, your depression. Okay. The things that you probably had already been telling them about anyways, but they weren't trying to hear it. Yeah. It's funny how that happens. It takes a little bit of separation, and then now all of a sudden they see a perspective. Also, it probably could have been that they were in some sort of new situation with somebody else and realized, oh, this is what they were talking about with me. Leo, imagine that, Leo. Hold on, let me look at you. Imagine that, Leo. Imagine you imagine somebody trying to get back with you, right? Because in a new relationship, they've realized that they were the issue. They recognized their own patterns in a new relationship that they couldn't see when they were with you. I ain't gonna never get into this oracle. I was gonna get oracle, but I think I might do it later. Okay. The Nine of Cups energy here, Leo. Yeah, I think that you're kind of at a point now, Leo, where you're just like, you know, like I'll hear you out, right? But I don't know if anything that they say, it's like you are gonna be now the Five of Swords energy, right? The things that they're trying to come to you to say, it's just like you're just sitting there like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Because you got your cups. You got your cups back there. You know what I'm saying? You've done the work. So you're not stunting it. Okay? And so I really kind of feel like that's the energy that you're going to be having for real, Leo. Like if this person tries to come back to you and approach you, it's like I think that many of you are going to kind of be taking not necessarily I guess a defensive type of energy, but I don't want to make you sound like you're defensive with the negative connotation attached to it. No, this is you standing, this is you saying, no, 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 no. My actions are going to dictate what happens here. Okay? And this is you having the upper hand basically now. Okay? Alright, what else for Leo? Ooh, okay. Okay. So then they go back with their tail tucked between their legs because they're realizing that it's over. We got the King of Swords, and the King of Swords is showing up here in reverse. So Leo, the energy that I feel here with this is, yeah, this person, now that they realize that you can't be moved, you can't be persuaded now, right? Even though they've seen the light, they've come to the understanding of whatever it was that you were trying to get them to understand, it's just too late. Okay? It's just too late. And I do kind of get the feeling where this person does come away from this, right? After kind of now being rejected by you, Leo, in a way. This person has learned a valuable lesson, okay, about do they even know? Have they even really learned their lesson actually? Okay, but the lesson should be about, you know, just because you're coming back with all these intentions and you're coming back with all of these words, and just because you're coming back with all of this knowledge and all of this understanding, doesn't mean that you, Leo, have to accept it. And this person is coming to that realization, or they will be coming to that realization. Okay. And I feel like they may kind of reject that at first, right? They're not going to understand that. Okay. Because if they were actually as healed as they are letting on to be, right, then with this King of Swords in the upright position, it would be like, okay, they understand. They're taking that in. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it stings. Yes, it's a blow to their ego. Yes, it's not what they wanted at all, but they're understanding. And then this is very unbalanced. Okay, so it's like this is giving they're gonna be having some words. They're gonna be having some things to say, which shows you exactly it shows you exactly where they are in their growth. Okay, so it's like this person goes from knowing that they need to communicate something here with you, knowing that they need to share their feelings here, because that's how they lost you, because they didn't share their feelings. But look, but it's all manipulatory. It's all it's just all a manipulation tactic. There we go. To just to have control here in the situation, maybe even to try to gauge how strong you're gonna be against them. Okay, maybe as a test to your strength, and then it's like they run back now that they see how strong you are, how developed you are, Leo. They're like, oh shit, okay, yeah, I can't lie to Leo. I can't be manipulative towards Leo now. Like, Leo understands. Okay, and it's like they have to go and move on. Okay, hurt a bit with a huge blow to their ego. Okay. King of Cups under the deck. So this could be an introduction here to someone who is more in alignment, Leo, with what your values are and with the way that you communicate emotion. You could be meeting this person during a moment of solitude, whether they're in solitude or you. Okay. I think that the way that you'll know who this new person is, if this is a new person, you'll know because the way that you'll start to feel, I think that what am I trying to say? You will kind of feel how this other person felt. Like, you want to give, you want to pour into, but it's like you want to hold back a little bit too. Okay. Whereas with that other person, you were more so the one always pouring into while they were holding back. I think that in this dynamic, you'll end up kind of being more withheld within your emotions, but not in a bad way. It's just the marker here of how you'll know that this person, because it's like they get it, they understand it. You know what I'm saying? What's understood doesn't necessarily have to be explained, because this person is just much more of an even match. Oh, Six of Wands. So yeah, so definitely success here, more success here in this newer possibility of a relationship here. Now, I'm not saying that you're just about to walk right into this new person. You know what I'm saying? Because it may not happen like that. Okay. Ooh, Two of Cups is the next card. It may not happen like that. All right. You may not just walk right into this energy, right into this new person. But we did have the Nine of Wands, remember, that just fell down. And then we also have this Nine of Cups energy as well. So I would say that maybe for some of you, you may meet this person within the next 9 weeks to 9 months. This new person, that is. Okay. But whichever one, it's gonna be when this other person is completely cleared away finally, and it's just like, now here's this other person who's more equally matched. I hope this is making sense, because okay. And then yeah, it's like I feel like this new person knows exactly what to do with your value here, Leo. Do I want to give y'all some oracle? Why not? Because I was going to open with oracle energy, but I ended up pulling tarot instead. So right off the back of what I just said, we have the card that says yes. So yes, this new energy is much more in alignment. Okay, we do have this single card here under the deck. So Leo, I do think that this is a time where you are. Did we have the Nine of Pentacles show up, or was that in another reading? Either way, this is the energy of the 999. I think that Nine of Pentacles did show up earlier. I'm gonna have to rewind, but it was like, I think it was like one of those under the deck cards. But anyways, if that's the case, then we do have the energy of the 999 and then the single energy here. So this is you, Leo, just being a bad bitch. You know what I'm saying? You just being that girl, being that guy, being that person. And when the energy is right for you to find that true match, it will happen. Look, Leo, how did your message turn into a no contact, in separation style message, and then turn directly into like a new, completely brand new love reading? Like, I love it. I love it, Leo. Go ahead and make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And also, you guys, I am trying to build my community on Instagram. So please, it would mean a lot for me if you could follow me there. It's all the same name. Okay? Bye.